So if you ever think you can probably figure out exactly what Nintendo is planning when it comes to their services or offerings or just new games in general, you probably can't, because in true Nintendo fashion, they just like to do their own thing on their own terms. And while we have been patiently awaiting any type of new Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack service announcements, they decide to, roughly at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, which is where I am at, go ahead and shadow drop 5 games that are being added to the Sega Genesis library. And I want to cover what these updates are and maybe what kind of precedent this sets for future Genesis updates going forward. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, as I mentioned, guys, we're covering one major out of the blue update from Nintendo, which is the fact that at around 7:30 p.m. Central Time, which would be 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time or 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Nintendo decides to do a true fashion shadow drop for the first edition of new Sega Genesis titles to Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack service. And to my surprise, it's 5 full, really good playable games. Not all of them I'm as hyped for as others, but this is at least a pretty substantial update to just drop on us out of the blue and have no build up. Like, obviously we already know to expect Banjo and Kazooie as the January N64 title. I still have some speculation on whether or not that'll be the only game we see in January. Like, in best case scenario, maybe it drops early January and we get a late January N64 game as well. But while we can maybe think that Nintendo will only do one N64 game per month, I do at least like to see this 5 titles drop for the Genesis all at once. And we'll briefly talk through, at first what these titles are and how you can go play them right now. And then from there, I want to share some speculation on maybe what we could expect in terms of updates on the Genesis games going forward, because if they're going to do them in bulk loads of 5, that's not a bad deal. And we also need to get Nintendo to realize that NES and SNES are still a thing, and hopefully they will support those over the course of time as well. So the first game that they reveal in the trailer is none other than Altered Beast, and I will say, for me personally, this is probably the most hyped game out of all 5, as it just has some great combat, bosses, and level design overall. And it's been so long since I played really multiple of these Genesis games that I'm actually decently excited to jump back into them. I did not pick up the collector's pack that you can get that roughly has like 50 Genesis games on the Switch. I know it's out there and available, but for me, as somebody who didn't purchase that, I will definitely hop through and check out some of these games, for the first time in many, many years, and Altered Beast is probably first up on my list. Then we have another fan favorite game, which is Toe Jam and Earl, that they are adding in. And of course, this is a very different style of game. I will be excited mostly to play it, hopefully on co-op, which I'm assuming you could go ahead and do online with friends without a problem. I haven't booted it up or looked at it yet, but I believe that that would probably be supported. From there, we got Thunder Force 2, which is, of course, like, if you played R-Type or anything back in the day, it looks very similar to that, as like kind of just, your space shooter type game where you are, of course, a ship trying to survive all of the oncoming projectiles. And obviously you get all types of upgrades to your ships with better guns and things. And of course you lose them upon death, but definitely another one that I will be excited to check out. We then got a game called Dynamite Headdy, and I don't have any memory playing this one as a child. Like, I don't know if maybe I picked it up at a friend's house one time, but it's definitely not one that sticks out in any way, shape, or form in terms of nostalgia. But you know what? It's another game that's on the NSO service that I will at least boot up and play through briefly to see what it has to offer. We then got Sword of Vermilion, which I don't know what this game is, or it's definitely like a different style type of game whenever you see it on screen. It does look like it's got some RPG elements and things like that, but I really don't know what to expect in terms of this game. It's another one that I haven't played through myself and really have no memory in terms of the nostalgia for this title. But you do see some interesting combat against a big dragon looking boss, and again, just another one that will be worth checking out on the service. At least we are getting something, because of course, to kind of broaden this conversation, up to this point in time, all we have seen Nintendo mention is the N64 new game additions. And it's like we want Nintendo to come out here and announce these things all at once and give us some kind kind of game plan on how they will continue to update the service going forward. And in true Nintendo fashion, they are acting like none of that talk is going on online, and they are choosing just to shadow drop announcements or just announce them on their own terms when they see fit at the right time. And that's what we got with the Sega Genesis announcement today. Now, I certainly hope that we see more than one N64 title. I think I need that personally. Another gripe, if you've been around on the channel for a while, you will know that I have with this NSO expansion pack specifically is that there is only an annual option to sign up for this service, which essentially means us subscribers that have already paid this exorbitant price are really just locked in for 12 months with no clear update or roadmap on how Nintendo's planning to update the service going forward. That said, I will give credit where credit is due, and I do think that 5 Sega Genesis titles just shadow dropping on the service is at least a nice sizable addition compared to them doing 1 or 2 at a time. Like, we didn't exactly know what to expect with the Genesis library side of things, and I would still like to see them add in some classics like Earthbound and other ones that are missing from the SNES and even the NES library over the course of time. So hopefully they don't treat those like they're totally forgotten and never getting looked at again. And if we see a nice mix of those game libraries continuing to get updates included with Genesis, and then if maybe one day by some miracle we're bumped to something like 2 or 3 titles per month added to the N64 library side of things, and then, you know, there's still heavily rumored new systems such as Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Original that could eventually join the party and make it over to the service. And I do think that if you have something like 3 to 4 new Game Boy Advance games added per month, or just Game Boy family of system games added per month alongside some of these Sega Genesis titles, plus we're getting like the couple N64, like Nintendo can do the right changes to this service to make it worth the $50 annual price point that they are currently asking for the service. I just think it's going to be a building process, and there will definitely be, you know, a lot of eyes on them on this first year at this higher price to see if they really do deliver that annual cost. That's our only option, is to sign up for the whole year. You cannot do it month by month. So we will, you know, ultimately as Nintendo fans have to wait and see if they are going to continue to stack the value on the service and truly make it worth it in most consumers' eyes, because I know for a lot of you out there, I've read all of the comments, I do know that there's a lot of people who feel like currently today that this service is still not worth it, and I would argue that it's not at this point either. But I do think that, you know, dumping 5 games on there for Sega Genesis is definitely a step in the right direction. So as I said, guys, I had an earlier news video go up today. If you haven't seen that, make sure you click it. I will have it linked at the end of this one around some game updates that are kind of a trend we're seeing with the gaming industry right now, and so I would love for you guys to be able to check out that video as well. But this is a bonus news video because of the late surprise announcement from Nintendo, and I would love to know from you guys in the comments down below what you think about these additions of Genesis titles, and what do you think about 5 games coming all at once? Like, is this something that's a little bit relieving to you, or is it still just clearly not enough from Nintendo, and really the lack of communication is around what their update schedule will be is maybe one of your main frustrations? So I do look forward to hearing from all your guys' thoughts and feelings on all things Nintendo Switch Online in the comments down below, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around this topic. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.